Anakin Skywalker, better known as Darth Vader, is easily one of the most iconic villains in all of fiction. With the release of Rogue One, a Star Wars story, Vader returned to his former glory, complete with a big screen release and a badass end scene. Oh boy! Many have wondered just how powerful this former Jedi Knight turned Sith Lord is, so today, I, Electricstar, once again, will show you the power of the dark side of the Force. That sounds overly optimistic, really, but yay, dark side! Anakin Skywalker, the best starfighter in the galaxy and a cunning warrior, was once a pupil of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Not only that, but Anakin also had a Padawan named Ahsoka Tano, and together they were a powerful duo, or trio as it were. As the Chosen One, everything seemed to be going pretty well for him, until one day a young Jedi named Darth Vader turned to evil. Darth Vader became seduced by the dark side of the Force, earning him a position as a Sith Lord. He led the Empire's genocide of the Jedi Order and even slaughtered the younglings. Come on! Could anyone say that word without laughing? Even freaking Ewan McGregor had to hold back his laughter.
I have seen a security hologram of him killing younglings.
Look! He's covering his mouth! Darth Vader ended up betraying and murdering Anakin Skywalker. At least that's what Obi-Wan told Luke to manipulate him into joining his cause. And we all know how Luke found out the truth that Obi-Wan was a lying sack of dicks.
No, I am your father.
That's right, Anakin Skywalker himself was the traitor who slaughtered the Order. Shocker! Seriously, who doesn't know this by this point? Now, why would the Chosen One murder the Order, you ask? Well, it's simple. Anakin became increasingly disillusioned with the Jedi Council, eventually even losing his protege due to their ineptitude. Reminds me of my old high school. Add on the fact that they constantly held him back, told him to suppress his emotions, and of course, didn't allow him to marry, and we have a recipe for disaster. Once again, reminds me of high school. Well, minus the marriage thing. Hopefully. See, all of the heinous crimes he committed were mainly for the love of his wife Padme, who he then tried to murder in a fit of rage, while she was pregnant with twins. Yeah, Anakin was kind of a bitch. Darth Sidious, otherwise known as Emperor Palpatine, otherwise known as Sheev, rebuilt Vader to serve beneath him. Vader would meet several ghosts from the past along the way, including his old Padawan Ahsoka and his old master Obi-Wan, who he then turned into, well, an actual ghost. Vader was led to believe by old Palpy to believe that he had killed Padme in his fit of rage, and that his twin children were also dead. However, many years later, exactly 19 years later, Vader would encounter both of them once again. At first, he had no idea who they were, but after hiring Boba Fett to find out their identity, he learned exactly who the enemy was. None other than his son, Luke Skywalker. From that point onward, Anakin would attempt to seduce his son into joining the dark side of the Force. Vader is a very capable fighter who is a master of melee combat, specializing with a lightsaber. He is capable of defeating even the most advanced Jedi, and in terms of mechanical skills, he was building pod racers and droids at the humble age of 9. When I was 9, I was playing Mario and building Lego. But not this kid. Gee, he sure seems like an upstanding fellow.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
I instantly hate this child. Moving on! Anakin is also an expert in piloting starfighters, and is a great leader who knows exactly how to keep his subordinates in place.
Be careful not to choke on your aspirations, Director.
With several decades of experience, Darth Vader is the last guy you'd want to mess with, besides the Emperor. But that's beside the point. As Anakin Skywalker, he wielded a blue lightsaber, the weapon of a Jedi Knight. Not as clumsy or random as a blaster, but an elegant weapon for a more civilized age. Meaning 19 years ago. As Vader, He has a much more badass red lightsaber. Though if you ask me, blue's better, but you know. A lightsaber is a portable plasma energy blade that can be instantly turned on or off, so to speak. It can cut through just about anything and has a kyber crystal and a power cell. It takes training to wield one, as it is quite easy to injure yourself or lose a limb while practicing otherwise. Didn't you always wonder why the Star Wars kid was practicing? Well, now you know. And of course, his most famous power, the ability to use the Force. The Force is what gives a Jedi his power. It's an energy field created by all living things that surrounds us and penetrates us and even binds the galaxy together. And believe me, with this Jedi mind trick thingy, Anakin can penetrate you like no other. Just ask Padme about that. Or those rebels that try to cross him at the end of Rogue One. They got penetrated in more ways than one. That was an awesome scene. Vader's senses are so beyond that of a regular human, he's able to sense his attackers from behind, even without looking in their general direction. Vader can utilize the Force to give himself barriers, use psychometry to gather information from the surrounding environment, telekinetically toss objects or people around, manipulate energy, deflect attacks, mindfuck people, and even use precognition. He can even channel the Force into his screams to shake entire rooms, and has enough resistance to see through illusions. His stamina is so great, he can even defeat 1,000 rebels in a single day without being worse for wear. Theoretically, he could even use the Force to control his hand if it got disembodied. Oh wait, that actually happened in a comic book. Isn't there anything that hasn't happened in comics by now? Vader's only limit to the Force is his creativity, kind of like a Green Lantern ring. And the less we talk about the Ryan Reynolds movie, the better. And now for the feats. Of course, we will just be going over the current Disney canon rather than the Legends canon, otherwise known as the old expanded universe before the mouse came and fucked everything up. Even as Anakin Skywalker, he was able to tango with both Obi-Wan Kenobi and Count Dooku on even terms. For reference, Count Dooku was able to push Obi-Wan at over 30,000 times the speed of sound, giving his Force push a kinetic energy of 1 megaton of TNT equivalent, which Obi-Wan also survived, giving them small city-level attack potency and durability. Yes, this feat alone is comparable to the level of firepower released by the explosions from the alien ships in Independence Day. By comparing the movement of the TIE-fighters in the background, we can determine that Obi-Wan was also able to move his hand roughly 0.2 of a meter in the time frame of 44 nanoseconds, giving him about Mach 13,000 speeds, which is sub-relativistic. Not only that, but in the Clone Wars, it was demonstrated that the blaster fire can hit ships in mid-flight during dogfights. Since the blaster fire was faster than the ship's travel speed, that would make blasters over Mach 3000. Any Jedi worth their salt can react to these babies, and Vader himself has even deflected omnidirectional laser fire before. As for Anakin's best showing after becoming Darth Vader, look no further than Vader Down 1, a comic book that is officially canon to the new Star Wars timeline. In the comic, he was capable of erecting a force barrier that not only deflected several proton torpedoes, but also capable of blocking the damage from the explosion entirely. Just how powerful is this? Well, harkening back to the Clone Wars, a few proton torpedoes were capable of damaging a Munificent-class Star Frigate. This ship was relatively unaffected by the collision of an asteroid impact. Since the asteroid had a mass of more than 80,000 tons and a speed of over Mach 1000, the kinetic energy of the impact would be over 1 gigaton of TNT, enough to destroy a small island. Finally, we need to figure out how durable his armor is. Not only is it capable of enduring lightsaber strikes, mainly the pauldrons, but it's also more durable than the Seddick Commando's armor, which allowed him to endure the explosion of a thermal detonator, albeit barely. 13 of these explosives were capable of destroying Rock Bridge, which had a volume of over 50 billion cubic centimeters. Since 8 joules are needed to fragment 1 cubic centimeter of stone, this would put the overall energy of each grenade at nearly 8 tons of TNT equivalent. This is also worth 1 ton of oil equivalent. Therefore, Vader's armor would easily have large building level durability even without force augmentations. With them, he could survive the destruction of an entire temple. Not bad, not... So, all in all, Darth Vader would have sub-relativistic speed, small island-level attack potency, small island-level durability with force augmentations, large building-level natural durability with his armor, and the most overpowered ability in the universe, Jedi mind tricks. With all that covered, let's see how he stacks up to other franchises out there. Star Trek versus Star Wars, an age-old debate. You just can't do Star Wars comparisons to other universes without bringing up Star Trek and vice versa. And yeah, Vader pretty much kinda shits on the entire Star Trek cast, who by comparison are mostly ordinary humans, except for Q. Q is the only exception who beats Vader. But otherwise, Vader solos. Next! Now for another space opera type series, but with more Nippon. In the Trigun world, Darth Vader measures up short compared to the likes of Vesh, knives, and other plants in terms of firepower and speed, as they can blow up moons as well as operate at relativistic speeds to faster than light speeds. But, from far enough distances, his force power should be able to work on them. Conversely, he has no way to resist Vash's black hole bullets. Realistically, Vader should be above the vast majority of the cast, on par with Legato, and below the plants. Ah yes, Marvel Comics. Within Marvel, Vader would easily be above the street-level characters, as well as many lower-tier metahumans like Iron Fist, who cap out in the range of small city-level and sub-relativistic, about the same tier as Anakin before becoming Vader. Against more powerful metahumans such as Reed Richards, the stat gaps become increasingly larger, as they begin reaching into the small island level and faster-than-light territory. However, depending on prep time and distance, Vader may very well be able to carry himself further up on Marvel's totem pole, but definitely wouldn't get past characters like the Heralds of Galactus. So yeah, he does not solo this. And if space opera isn't enough for you, try space opera with giant robots! The Gundam franchise has a fuckload of timelines, but two ones he could easily fit comfortably into are Gundam Wing and Gundam 00. High tiers from these series can reach up to small country level and thousands of times the speed of sound, with some characters even having precognitive abilities much like Vader himself. Can you just imagine a dogfight between Vader and a starfighter against a Gundam pilot in their mech? High-tier Gundams in either timeline would outgun Vader pretty easily, but Vader does have more tricks up his sleeve thanks to the Force, which could potentially help him out. Well guys, this was Electricstar bringing you Star Wars. Star bringing Star Wars, that's funny, that's meaningful in a way. If you hated this episode, then be sure to give us a like, subscribe, and favorite out of pity anyways. I'll see you next time, where I'll be covering the one and only Jar Jar motherfucking Binks. See you then!